I wonder if anybody will even watch this stream since everybody's like, I'm in game must level. So this is alttabme.com podcast number 11. We took a break there for launch week. We decided that we would let everyone get in game, check it out for themselves, and then we would come back to you with our first impressions. A couple things I want to touch on. First of all, there is a giant pink poof in my video you might see. If you're listening to it, you're not going to see it, but if you're watching, you're going to be like, what the fuck is that? Well, this is a redhead. I'm going to be making a video, putting it on the forums at alttabme.com, and you can win one of these, and it'll have all the details all about what it is, why it's on my microphone, what the purpose of it is other than looking awesome and pink and like a tribble. But I'll give you a quick breakdown. The idea behind it is that it stops wind from getting into your microphone. So if there's like a big fan on it, which most gamers get hot while playing, you have a big computer, you have a lot of lights on, you're jerking on. What are you doing? Anyway, you know, gaming is serious hot business, and sometimes you don't want to turn that air conditioner on because you might blow a fuse while you have your big rig on, so you need a fan. Anyway, if the fan is blowing on your microphone and you're talking on ventrilo, you're going to blow my ears out, everybody else's ears out. If you get one of these things, it literally takes that noise and just nixes it. Anyway, if you would like to win one, you can go to alttabme.com, and later on this week I will be posting a video with details on how to do so. So keep checking back for more information. Also, just wanted you to know we are live every Monday at 5:15 p.m. Eastern. We took 1 week off, as I said, for launch, but this is a weekly podcast, so we'll be here every Monday. And then on Wednesday, that gets pushed to YouTube, and you can watch it there. And you can get the YouTube information at alttabme.com as well. Also, since the game is now live, we now have live streams going. If you go to alttabme.com/live, you are guaranteed to see a live stream of the game from someone's perspective in the guild. John's been setting up his when he gets his new computer. I have a stream going pretty much 24/7 when I'm not sleeping. Even when I am sleeping, it still has a picture of my character up there dancing or something. Anyway, you can pretty much catch the live stream all the time, 24/7, from at least one perspective of our guild. So once again, that is alttabme.com/live. We don't have a schedule per se right yet, but we will probably put one up after a week or two of, you know, figuring out how the game balances into our lives. Because right now, our game and lives don't really have a balance. It's more about the game. Yeah.
Yeah,
As you could
some
probably
of
tell,
us
since
still have
three of us are wearing hats because three of us didn't want to shower today, and then no. But yeah, so that's the basic gist of things, and so we just wanted to get on here and talk about our initial impressions of Guild Wars 2. So, how did you guys think the launch went? From my perspective, I thought that it was a very smooth launch. I was impressed by the fact that you could actually play the game, albeit there were some hiccups and stuff like that. But this was the first launch where I wasn't kicked out of the game for any elongated period of time.
I completely agree with that. I mean, comparatively to a lot of other titles that have launched, even ones that aren't strictly MMOs, you know, it's been relatively low problems, and nothing really prevented people from, like you said, getting in and playing the game, which is one of the bigger problems with MMO launches.
Yeah, and it was a breath of fresh air to finally like be able to jump in the game and hang out there with your friends for a while. I think the only hiccup I ran across was when the servers when they went online, you literally got swamped in the newbie areas, and it would kick you out, and you couldn't finish your beginning intro, which was a little frustrating. But at that point, I didn't care because I had my name. I already reserved my name. I was like, yeah, I got Triage. What's up? And then I messaged the guy that got Tristan, and I was like, do you like that name? And he was like, I love it. And I was like, okay, have fun. And just in case, maybe he was just like, I'm going to make Tristan because of the Knights of the Round Table, or because I really like Brad Pitt from Legends of the Fall, or I'm into opera with Tristan and Isolde. Whatever. There's a lot of reasons why you might like that name. Maybe he's a big fan of mine, and he was like, I want to be like my hero.
I don't know about that.
But once that eased up, I think it was nice. We got in game. We made our guild. That was pretty cool. It was nice to finally, getting... Bruce ended up making the guild because I was too busy making my character pretty for at least an hour.
Yeah. I had to yell at everyone, send me copper, send me the first copper you get. We need to get this guild. And only took like 10 minutes.
I think that's the only thing I think is a little weird.
Right away.
The guild creation, I think that you should be able to make a guild in the first place without having to put money into it. Maybe it only has 25 members that you can do it, and then the money that you put into it raises that cap. But I think having to pay more than what you have in the beginning to make the guild in the first place made it a little difficult for us to grab a guild right away.
Well, it is only one silver. I guess it was only the initial launch where it was actually an issue. I mean, now anyone can make a guild for whatever they want, but
it's not that
5
bad.
minutes was the hard part.
I guess that's.
I guess
you're right.
They didn't anticipate that communities would come together and already have a working guild before the game launched.
True.
There's a lot of that, yeah.
I was impressed that our guild is still working. I mean, the fact that we were a preconceived idea of what a guild should be, and then we were like, oh, the game's out, let's see how this works. And everybody seemed to get along very well, if not better than normal, so that was nice. It did tell us, it did give us an idea of who would be, who would be members and who wouldn't be, and who wasn't here, and who went on vacation, and who just kind of doesn't care anymore. So that was nice. It was exciting to finally see, who are the core members of the guild Arcanix of alttabme.com. So that was cool. Bruce, what are some of your what are some of the things that you think were not so smooth about this launch? I know you have some stuff you want to talk about.
Well, on the initial launch, we had a little issues getting together as a group. Some of the overflows matching, all that fun stuff. Couldn't get into the Azure and Stone like we originally planned. But you know what? We adapted. We were getting locked out from the Metrico province, so it's like, you know what? Let's go do another zone. We actually ended up in World v World for the first 10 levels. It's just like, this is kind of fun. So we were goofing around in there. But since then, a lot of the auction house stuff has kind of killed me. I'm still kind of twitching and angry, but I'm getting over it. I'm just collecting my stuff, and I'm just now letting things calm down. But overall, I mean, besides a couple of the hiccups, everything else has been pretty smooth for me. I've been really happy. I think only one zone has really glitched out on me since the first 2 hours, and even then it was just, do what you want to do anyways. Other than that, I've been pretty happy with it.
Yeah, I want to touch on the auction house a bit. For people that don't know, there's an auction house where you can trade stuff in game. You trade things with other servers and other people. So you could, let's say you find an epic sword of pink slaying, and you want to sell that for 4 gold, and the other guy that found it wants to sell for 3 gold, and then you have a bidding war, blah, blah, blah. You can't use that right now. It keeps going up and down. It works, it doesn't work, it sometimes works, it's up, but it's not working. It's very frustrating because there's no economy in the game right now. It's totally brought the economy to a halt. So you have a lot of people stockpiling, which would be awesome if you had more bank slots or bag space without having to pay real life money for it. So what you're getting into a situation here is you're forcing people to really consider using real life money for more space, which is, it's a gray area at that point. I understand that, you know, it's probably very difficult to get this kind of stuff online, and I'm not saying boo on you, you know, I'm not, whatever. I'm not sitting there at their database and looking at their programmers going, you know, oh, this is so easy. Why don't you just put an X here instead of a Y? You know what I mean? It's not like I'm looking past the idea of how hard this is, but it does break certain aspects of the game, immersion-wise and also economy-wise. And that's an important part of an MMO specifically, because the people online are a big part of what drives the game. And so when you're sitting here with all these people now stockpiling mats and items and stuff, when that auction house does go up, which it does every now and again, it'll just randomly go up. They don't really have a rhyme or reason for it. They pushed it out to 25% of the population, then they turned it off for that 25% and opened it up for another 25% to kind of test. And then they did 100%, and then they turned it off, and we thought it was up, but it wasn't. And so you've got people rushing on there and flooding the market, like just flooding it with everything you could think of. And so nothing is worth anything right now. So it's great if you're crafting, because you can go ahead and buy everything right now, and you'll make a lot of, you know, you'll be able to level up pretty quickly. But I don't know. It's weird because you end up stopping everything you're doing when someone in the guild or on Mumble says, "Oh, the trading post is up," just so you can stop and go empty your bags. And you're sitting there and you're hoping that the bags will empty, because sometimes you'll hit sell and it just sits there and it doesn't do anything. So it's not working so well, and it's getting a little frustrating as the weeks go on now. So I don't know. What about, did you guys have a different experience, or was that similar?
No, it's
Oh,
pretty much
that's
the
exact.
same thing.
That's, yeah.
Yeah, me even worse so, because most of the time when most of the guild was reporting that it was up, I was still getting the down for maintenance, and so I couldn't do anything, and that also led to, you know, me getting stuck in my crafting at one point, because I hit those tier 2 mats that weren't dropping, and so I had no way of getting them. So
Yeah, me
I
too.
was
Yeah.
equally, if not more, frustrated than most other people with it.
Well, I mean, so other than the auction house being busted, I think the other thing that's been, it's just an initial impression, is that I got my Mesmer up to level 80. I think I'm gonna insert like some round of applause at that point in the sound effects, just when I edit
Not
this
gonna get it
later.
from us.
Not deserved. Not deserved.
Totally deserved. What?
Oh, whatever.
Anyway, so I got my Mesmer
Not
up.
deserved.
Whatever. I got my Mesmer up to 80.
He's just angry you're an Iron Shaft, is what it is.
He is angry that I'm Iron Chef. So Bruce, wait, hold on. Let's non sequitur a little bit here.
Thanks.
So why did I hit 80, and why are you mad about that, Bruce?
Well, I'm sure almost everyone who's watching this right now has found out there is a really easy way to level cooking from 0 to 400. Costs about 2,000 karma, under 2 gold, in 1 hour of your time, and it's an instant 10 levels of gratification and max craftsman, and it pisses me off. I was all excited about having like that cooking niche of getting up there, getting 400 before most other people, so I can sell all these foods. And oh nope, Herpaderp over there has 400 cooking and didn't have to earn it.
Did you just call me Herpaderp?
It's just you know what?
He called you Herpaderp.
Am I Herpaderp
I'm
in this scenario?
Yeah.
You're Herpaderp. Everyone who's done it is Herpaderp in this scenario. Because are you even planning on doing cooking other than having the 10 levels? I mean, you have the
I was
10
thinking
levels
about
now.
it.
I might go to it every now and
It
again.
could happen.
If I need a steak,
Yeah,
sometimes
exactly.
you're in the mood for steak, so I figured I have cooking now.
If I want to make a sandwich,
Well-
I might get hungry.
I heard it's good for the
I
ladies
can
too.
tell you right now, 90.
They like
You know
the
it-
culinary
everyone knows,
chefs. You know what I
but
mean? Now I know how to make it all pretty and stuff and
90%
arrange it
of
on the plate.
people- I can tell you, almost everyone that did it is only doing it for those 10 levels.
No, I agree.
And,
No, I
you know
agree.
what? system. It's in the system. It's not ArenaNet's fault. Well, it kind of is for not checking the systems on such an easy leveling. But that's how cooking is built. You can buy stuff with karma. You can buy stuff with gold. And it just happened to be that there was an easy way of going from 0 to 400.
I don't think it was
ArenaNet
intentional.
because that's a system you wanted. No, it wasn't intentional. But I'm a little mad at the person who first found it, and I wasn't the first one who found it. I think if I was the first one to see it, I would have been a lot happier about it. But I'm well behind on the curve on this one, and that frustrates me more than anything.
Well, I think what was confusing to everyone is that when we read about cooking, or when ArenaNet told us about cooking, they said this would be the hardest tradecraft to level up, hands down. They were like, this is the hardest. The true crafters will want to do this one because it is so hard. And Bruce is a true crafter all the way. He's been talking about it since day one. Super excited about crafting. He was, theory crafting the shit out of it. Theory crafting. That's kind of awesome. And, a guide comes out and it literally levels you up. And I put up a YouTube of me leveling it from 0 to 400 in under an hour with a crafting booster. So, I mean, I don't think that's the most difficult. I'm still working on my tailoring, and I haven't maxed that one out yet. And I've been working on it slowly since I was level 0. So, yeah, it's definitely. I think it's going to be tweaked, if you ask me.
Yeah, definitely.
Probably. Most likely.
I think they should at least, because it's right now. It's not the hardest; it's the easiest out of every single crafting profession.
It's a joke.
It's the easiest, and it's not even worth your time. And once you level it, you have so many of these foods that boost your experience, boost magic find because of the recipes you use, that you literally won't have to cook for probably a month. So I don't think that's as intended.
Still angry. Still very angry. I'm very bitter.
Well, I just know we were in Mumble, and somebody came to me and they were like, "Oh, did you know that you can level crafting from 0 to 400 in like an hour?" And I was like, "Oh, really?" And then all of a sudden you hear Bruce has entered the channel. Fuck! What the fuck? Fuck this shit. Fuck it. I don't fucking want to fucking play it. Fuck. Bruce has left the channel.
I was extremely pissed when I found that. Because I got my cooking up to probably 150 at the time, and I was still moving really slow, but I was all excited because look at all these things I've discovered. This is really cool. And then I just see 20 people go towards the cooking station. And all of a sudden I just see level. It's like, what the frick is everyone doing? I was just very angry. I'm still pissed.
Well, it brought me from.
All right, let's
I'll
take
be
the
honest.
topic
No,
here.
it brought me from 68 to 77 or 78.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
I got
What
about
else
6
we got?
levels off it.
Okay. So what were we? I'm sorry. Okay. So what were we talking about? Okay. So I hit level 80 with my mesmer, and I was all excited. By the way, if you couldn't tell, I like pink.
No.
I live vicariously through things that I can have that don't make me. Yeah. Okay. Anyway. Anyway, so I love the mesmer. I'm having a great time with it, but I went and rolled the Guardian Alt. And Guardian has always been my, deep, dark, secret love. But I have a problem with the Guardian because obviously I don't like the theory craft and all that shit. But to be honest, the reason I don't like Guardian is because when I bring the Guardian to World v World, I feel useless. I don't feel like I'm doing anything helpful. Yes, I know I can remove boons and conditions. I mean, I can give boons and I can remove conditions and I can kind of, stop people from getting to certain areas. But the amount of times that damage outdoes utility in World v World is 9 times out of 10. And the Guardian just doesn't dish out the damage because you have to get so close. So being a melee where it's literally, you do have ranged attacks. But anyway, so not to go into too much theory on this, the game has released, right? I picked my profession. I picked it. Mesmer. I was like, yes, Mesmer all the way. Woo! All the way to 80, too. And then I get to 80 and I roll an alt like a dumb shit. I should not have hit the alt button, but I did. And I was like, alt button. I don't ever make alts. Let me try this. Oh, I like this. Oh, this is fun. My Mesmer doesn't have this. But what if I respec like, but that's not the same thing as. So now I'm sitting here not knowing what main I want to be. I don't know if I want my Guardian to be my main. I don't know if I want my Mesmer to be my main. And so I've been talking to people in game. Like I'll randomly run across somebody. And Guild Wars 2 is very cool because people are very sociable, which is very awesome. So you could literally walk up to someone, type /say, and start talking to them, and they will talk to you. And so I've been running up to random Guardians or Mesmers that I see, and I've been talking to them, and I've been like, so I don't know if I want to play this class or this class. What do you think? And they're like, I'm in the same boat as you. I made like 75 alts. I'm like, shit. The downfall of Guild Wars 2 is that everything's too fucking balanced. Would you fucking unbalance your fucking professions or something? Like, I don't want to like every class.
No.
I don't want to like every class.
Don't say bad things.
No, I have no, because like, and then I want to roll a ranger because I like all the medium armor, and I'm just like, and I'm like, I don't have enough time in my head personally to run this many characters. I'm on my Mesmer now, and I'm hitting bubble, but I don't have fucking bubble, so it's fucking porting me, and I'm like, that's not the right button. What the fuck is going on? So I'm sitting here.
Your indecisiveness, it's hilarious, by the way.
And I don't know what to do. And it's frustrating. I'm dreaming of it. I'm having dreams going, I'm like fighting as a guardian in my dream. I swear to God, this is not a lie. So I'm fighting as a guardian. I'm like, yeah, I'm a guardian. And I'm all having like epic shit and fucking stuff is happening. And then in my dream, I like pull out and I realize I'm playing a game. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I have the Mesmer. Oh, but which one is more epic? And then I wake up and I'm like, fuck!
You are addicted, sir.
So this is the problem.
Addicted.
No, the problem is that I want to be addicted, but I can't be addicted without a main, okay? I can't be addicted without a main. Since I had this problem where I can't pick my main, I've logged out more than I have in the beginning week where I was leveling to 80 because I thought I had a main. Now I'm all like, fuck this shit. I don't even want to log in right now. I don't want to fucking level up again. God damn it, fuckers. I'm like, shit, why don't I do cooking again? Then I'll get a couple levels.
On that note, how many dies do you have on your Mesmer that you wish you had on your Guardian?
Oh, that's the other motherfucking thing. That's the other thing.
Oh, no.
No, that's the other thing. That drives. Okay, but that's like a serious drives me nuts thing. I don't like that the dies are count bound. There's 400 dies in this game, and I mean character bound.
You mean.
And you expect me to fucking get 400 dies on each character? You're nuts. You're crazy. I'm level 80, and I've gotten maybe 100. No, not even 100 dies. No. No, it's not gonna happen. So now I'm sitting on my Guardian. I'm all like, should I send this to my Mesmer or should I just wait to see if I really like the Guardian? I don't know at this point.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like also like the dies that I really like are like really rare, and so there's like almost no chance of me just encountering them again.
Yeah.
No, it's rough. It's like you don't know. I don't know, man. That's the roughest thing to me is that it is an alt game. The game is definitely very attuned to having alts, and that's cool. The problem is that when you make an alt, if you buy a bag slot for your character, your alt character, if you buy it with real life money, it's only for that character. So when you're switching characters and you're going to alts, you feel gimped, and I don't like that at all. I like the idea that if you level up and you can build things like bags and stuff like that, you can send that to your alts, and then you can feel like you're still on the same type of character even though you have new skills. Right now it feels like you're going to a gimped out version of you, and that blows. So I hope that they relook at the dies, because if the reasoning behind that is so that people buy them off of the gem store, I'd rather pay a fucking monthly subscription. Because I think it's crap that you have to buy dies per account. Put a goddamn monthly subscription on your game and stop dicking me around. You know what I mean? Because that's what I feel like.
Well-
I feel like I'm getting dicked around. You worked hard to find those.
I didn't. I was gonna say I'm just stockpiling all of mine just to sell later, so it doesn't really bother me much.
Wow.
But yeah, sucks to be you guys who actually care.
Look, the most important thing in any MMO
Cooking.
for me is to
Cooking.
look pretty, okay? That's it. I want to look
Exactly.
epic.
Purdy.
I'm the same. I'm very visual when it comes to playing these games. So
Yeah.
Wow.
Which
No,
okay,
I'm not.
so
I'm
we're not
obviously not.
like ragging on. We're not ragging on. We're getting into a deep dark place here, but talking about visuals, let me tell you something. Since they optimized this game for launch, holy shit. I have not played a game that I have been so immersed in so long. I am walking around this world. Yesterday I decided to just not join up with anybody and just walk around one of the Norn zones that we had pushed through with the guild in the early days alone. Actually, I had rooks in and stuff, but we weren't really talking on Mumble. We were keeping it pretty quiet, and I had the music turned up, and I had the ambient sounds, and I had the NPC chatter on, and you're walking around this world with your armor shining and the sun glaring down on you and the lens flares coming through the trees and NPCs yelling in the distance, and you're running towards them because they're like, help, help. And so you go and they actually need your help. And I swear to God, 5 hours went by and I had no idea because the world was so immersive that I was just, when I was done playing, instead of being frustrated, I was in this state of calm. I was just like, wow, that was fun. That was a lot of fun. Like I walked away from it going, I want to do that again. That was awesome. So I have to say they optimized their game magnificently. I also have to say, though, is if you don't have a supercomputer, you're not getting the same experience. And Bruce just fell.
Shut up.
First. Man
Shut
down.
up.
Man down.
No drinking.
Didn't happen.
Too drunk.
It's
I'm not drinking. It's my makeshift stand. It's not very stable. Don't worry about it. It's good. It's good. I'll just hold it there. Gently.
yeah.
Stop making fun of me.
Okay.
Play my hotel.
But is the game so okay? So I have like crazy computer, right? I have a really beefed up computer. Do you guys have similar specs, or are you running? Is anybody running a little bit lower? I'd love. So Bruce, what's your
well,
experience from the lower specs?
Well, I've been running on medium, and it's better if I'm on low. It's not great. It still looks beautiful. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes I like to keep it on medium when I'm out in the world, so I can try to enjoy some of these things. It's still gorgeous. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, you're talking about it like it's heaven on earth, and it's like, okay, no, it's really beautiful. But again, I'm not very aesthetically pleasing. I'm glad that I'm getting 40, 50 FPS, and that's what I want. I want the gameplay factor less than the visual factor. Granted, it is beautiful. All the friends I've run into the game are like, oh my god, this is freaking beautiful. Thank you for getting into this game. But I'm just happy to be playing it at somewhat decent frame rate. So.
I think the thing that stands out to me the most is the armors. The armors absolutely shine. Like when you're running around, your character looks the coolest out of everything around you. It just pops. Somehow they made your character pop. Either it's the way that they did the dyes or the way that they did the ambient inclusion on them or something. I don't know what it is, but it makes you pop out of the world and feel very epic. I mean, that's the only word I can think of. Is you feel like a hero.
Alive.
You feel like a hero.
Alive,
And
yeah.
You feel like you're wearing metal. You feel like you're wearing leather. You feel like you're wearing cloth, and that's really, really cool. It's not just some painted piece of armor on your character. It actually feels like it has weight and it flows with you the way it should. And when you make an attack, it also reacts to that as well.
It moves and flows, yeah.
I've noticed a couple things, a couple quests. They seem to have hotfixed a bunch of them, but there was a couple quests in the beginning that would have some seriously quick respawn times where people would just sit there and they could level up pretty damn fast. So there's a couple bugs like that. I
Yeah.
mean, every game's got its bugs, but there's some pretty good ones in this one. If you heard on Reddit, there was the karma bug where people took advantage of that, and I'm very happy to hear that they banned all those people. They just were like, you know what? This was a blatantly obvious bug, and you guys took advantage of it, so you're banned. Goodbye. And that's a great statement from ArenaNet right out of the gate. For them to come out and just be like, poof, They need to make a good stance, because the number one thing that Blizzard has over every other game is good customer service. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on that one. But you know what? I worked for that company, and without saying anything that would breach an NDA or anything like that, they are the most accommodating customer service I've ever played with. And they make sure to listen to all your problems. Whether or not you like their response or not, they're still listening to you, and they're still taking care of you. And ArenaNet is making that same approach, especially when it comes to the environment that you're in. If you're making names that are saying Hitler is God, or you're making, or you're telling someone to go fuck off because he's from Africa, you know what I mean? If you're saying these nasty things, you're getting banned. And that's good.
Don't do it.
Because the internet is not a good place for anonymity. You know what I mean? I mean, it is a good place. You understand what I'm saying. You're not going to go up to a black person in real life and tell him, something racial. He'll punch you in the mouth. So just because you're on a video game, you think you can spout out all this bullshit. And that's fucked up. So I like the fact that ArenaNet takes the stance and says, you know what? If you can't do it in real life, you can't do it in the game. To a certain extent, when it comes to the racial stuff and the being just a complete jackass. So I'm glad to see they're banning people, because it keeps people in check, and it makes it so that the community doesn't go out of control. Take, for instance, APB, All Points Bulletin. Loved that game, but the thing I hated about that game was you could say anything you want. The amount of times I was called a pussy fart was like ridiculous.
That one.
Wow.
Why did they just call you a queef? They coming to get you.
There they are.
The popos here.
All right, so
My goodness.
wow, that was intense.
Wow.
But yeah, so it's nice to see that they're taking an active role in moderating the community, because you know what? I'm sorry, this is the internet, and it needs to be fucking moderated to a certain extent. So I
have to say though, overall, this is probably one of the most mature communities I've encountered. Everybody's seems very sociable and whatnot, for the most part.
There are pockets. You'll see some pockets.
Oh, yeah,
there are pockets.
Well,
But,
yeah,
just like anything else. But yeah, overall, you're right. Yeah.
I've met some really nice people. I mean, I've met people in game that have helped me out, and we've talked to each other a little bit afterwards, and we've shared loot. We were doing, me and John and Belial and some people from the guild were running in ore on our 80s, and this Guardian showed up, and I was just talking to him. I was like, "Oh, your armor looks really cool," and he was like, "Oh, thanks." And once again, it was the whole like Mesmer Guardian dilemma, and I was looking at his stuff. It was more of an envy thing. I was like, "You look really cool." Anyway, I was like, so we started talking, and he was like, "Hey, can I run with you guys?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, sure." And so he literally stuck with us through 2 hours of events. Like serious events, big hard events. He stuck with us for 2 hours, and he was very vocal, and he was helping, and it's nice. The chat system in this game is nice, and it's very artistic, where the chat bubble pops over your head, and it looks really nice. So when somebody talks, you definitely feel like you're in the game with them. For instance, one of our guild members likes to, when we go into our personal stories, her name is Callie, and she likes to type stuff so that a little bubble pops over her head. So when the NPCs are talking with the little bubbles over their head, she'll respond with something absolutely ridiculous. And you think she's part of the quest at that point. So you're like, wait, did that NPC just really say that? What the hell? Like Logan will be talking like a little bitch, you know. Oh, I miss my queen woman, blah blah blah. I must save her. And Callie will write, "Man up, dude." And you'll just see it pop over her head, and you're like, wait, did an NPC just say "man up"? What the hell? So there's a lot of little moments like that in this game that are fun. It definitely. I was thinking yesterday when I was going with Rook and all them, and it was quiet. I was definitely feeling the nostalgia that I felt with Ultima Online, which I predicted, which is great. It's not Ultima Online, obviously, but you do feel that community drive. You know, when 40 people see an iron mine and they all go after it, and you're all sitting there, tink, 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 and then somebody just writes, "Hey, what's up, guys?" You know, that's what Ultima Online was all about. You were forced into interactions where you were either going to be quiet and do your thing, or you're going to talk. And some people are taking the advantage and talking, which is nice. So, oh, I just realized I haven't really introduced. This is Rooksin. Rooksin is one of our officers in Arcanix. He's not just some random dude. We were like, "Hey, dude, we saw you on the street. We thought you had a cool hat. Do you want to be part of the podcast? Do you have a webcam by any chance? You have a headset? Cool. All right, let's do this." Rooksin likes to stand at his desk. Rooksin, you want to show us what's going on here? There is no chair here. He stands at his desk. Hardcore, man. Hardcore. He plays Guild Wars 2 for.
It's a growing trend.
It is a growing trend, and I don't understand it.
I don't understand
My feet
it either.
hurt like hell. Because it's recommended you only do it for like a couple hours. This is for the general people who only at a desk for a couple hours, but I'm like at it for like 6-7 hours a day. So, yeah.
Hey, power
I'm
to you,
still
man.
suffering through it. Oh, dude.
Yeah.
That's why I'm wobbling back and forth all the
Yeah,
time.
that's why he does the pee-pee dance half the time. I always thought
Seriously, Dan.
I always thought you were in a chair doing this. It's more like ow, my feet, ow, my feet, ow, my feet. So what else? What else have we run across in the thing? We've done a couple dungeons. I've noticed the dungeon difficulty is oh my god, it gets hard. Like, we did Asmodean Catacombs, and we wiped a million times, and we'd already done it, so we were like, okay, that's fine. It was, you know, at least we knew what we were doing. Then we went to the Kakados Manor.
Twilight Arbor.
Nope, the Manor.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And that wasn't so hard. That was actually pretty easy. It's not even, I wouldn't even consider that a dungeon.
Short.
Yeah, it's very short. It's just like a house that you go to. We haven't done explorable on
Sort of
anything
like an
yet.
instance event, almost.
Yeah.
You guys haven't done explorable yet?
No, we haven't done any explorables yet.
I haven't done explorable on anything.
We did a little bit of explorable on the catacombs last night. We got a couple bosses down.
Did you?
And then the third boss, it was me and some of the guildies. We got the first boss. We got the second boss on one of the one of the paths. So we got 2 bosses down. So we got 10 tokens for the dungeon. Then when we got to the third boss, it ended up bugging out halfway through, and we tried to reset it every which way, and just wasn't working. It was just like, oh, come on. We're like halfway through the boss, and it was like a 4-wave system. We were on the 3rd wave, and it bugged out. And it's just like, oh man, it took us like an hour to get in there because of the system right now. You have to hope you get into the same group with everyone, but we tried multiple different workarounds. So it was a big hassle, but when we were actually playing it, it was awesome. It was hard. It was difficult. We had to try different things. We adjusted. It was a lot more fun than the story mode. I can tell you that right now. Story mode was cool, but explorable mode is just fun.
Cool.
A lot of fun.
All right, we'll have to definitely check that out. I mean, it sounds like it. From what I've heard in guild chat and people that have run into it, they say it's a lot of fun and it's very, very challenging. I'm interested in seeing how that how that challenge goes, because I've seen that there's a lot of interactive stuff and it's not just, you know, downing a boss. Because our third dungeon was.
That's the thing too.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Rex.
Oh, I'm just going to add, because it's not just like raid content that people are previously used to that you just go through and you run over and over. going from the story mode to the explorable, it's still tied into the story as to why there's now an explorable mode of this dungeon.
Cool. Yeah.
We end up choosing one line, but all of a sudden we realize, hey, there are 2 paths we can go on this. Even after we chose something, it's like, well, that wall just broke down. We can go down that wall, or we can keep going down the hallway down this way. What do you guys want to do? And all of a sudden, like, a spider pops out. That's a random spider boss queen thing.
Yep.
It was just a lot of fun, just finding these little events that normally wouldn't happen, yet they happened. It was nice. It was
Nice.
different. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I got hit by one of those randoms the first time I did the catacombs. It's a random cave troll veteran that like pops out.
Yeah.
Oh
of the
yeah,
wall
we
for
got
no
that.
reason.
We got that. Yeah.
It's
Did
cool.
you get it during the boss fight though?
Yeah, we got on top of the
we
other
were
champion we were
almost
fighting.
to
That
it,
was
and it's like,
fantastic.
bam.
Yeah, we by accident.
Yeah.
I by
Totally
accident
killed us,
actually was
maybe
like,
a couple times.
I'm a mesmer. I'm gonna go run over here and hide in the corner and plink. Fuck a troll.
Popped out of the wall.
Yeah, it just like
It's
knocked out of the
completely,
wall, and I was like,
random, and it's just
sorry guys, there's a troll. We have to fight 2 bosses now.
It was actually our Mesmer that did the same thing too, so I'm gonna just blame Mesmers on this one.
I was just like, I'm trolling you, bitch. I'm trolling you. So, what was the 3rd dungeon that we did again, John?
Twilight Arbor.
Twilight Arbor. The bosses in that dungeon are like 10 times more difficult than, say, Ascalonian Catacombs. And not just the bosses, but the trash mobs. And I think when we were running through it, we came to the realization that we were all very programmed to kind of go look at the web, watch a little bit of TV while we're clearing trash mobs. Yeah, not in this game. Trash
Yeah, you
mobs
can't do that,
are
no.
not trash mobs. They are fucking difficult. And if you're not paying attention, you're gonna die. This game is not a good game if you want to have any other interaction with anything else while playing. Like, your hands are tied up because you need both. Your head is tied up because you have to watch the screen. And your life is tied up because why is everything masturbation to you? Why?
What is it?
No, like I'm feeling.
See, look, we've been playing the game so much. The game takes so. Oh my god, the game takes so much of your time up that you can't even. You don't even have time to masturbate. Bruce is like pent up because of this
Thank
whole
you.
week of gaming right here.
You'd be surprised. You would be surprised.
I don't. Please don't surprise me ever.
I don't want to know. Thank
Ever.
you.
This is not. We're moving on now. Moving on. I know someone's gonna be like, "Why do you guys keep talking about masturbation? All I wanted to hear was Guild Wars 2." Well, fuck you. How's that? We can talk about whatever the fuck we want. This is our goddamn podcast, not yours. If you want to make a fucking podcast, go to fucking podcast.com and download some podcasting fucking software and make a goddamn podcast yourself. Get a fucking podcasting mic with a purple fucking pink fluffy thing on it and
So angry today.
Wow.
Anyway.
It's that whole Mesmer Guardian thing.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
I'm
It's
still.
really messing him up ever since he started.
It is messing me up. I've never rolled an
It
alt
wasn't at
like
80, it was like all the way through.
I've never rolled an alt like 10 minutes after hitting 80 on any character. I'm like, oh, I'm max level. Let me go to my alt. Ah. But and then the armor sets, like all the armor looks so cool for all the different classes. I wish I could play. By the way, for everyone watching, I'm saying class from now on. I am no longer giving a shit if I say profession or class. You know what? They're the same fucking thing. And I'm sorry, ArenaNet, that you tried to change the world. You already changed the world with your game. Why do you have to change words too? Okay? It's class. It's a fucking class. It's not a profession. This is Guardian Rage. I'm sorry. Anyway, so dungeons aside, they're difficult. They're fun. A lot of group effort. You know, everybody gets to change up their skills, try new stuff. It's very, very interesting. It's not just like, oh, go kill a boss. Oh, let's sit in front of the boss and explain what you need to do for 10 minutes. It's more like, let's just try it out. And if we die, we die. And if we don't, we don't. So, I mean, even in all the dungeons, they put a repair hammer. So you can repair your armor after you die. So you don't have to run out of town or anything like that. It's cool. The other thing we did a lot of, and let me tell you, it is the most immersive thing I've seen in this game because it's so much fun and it's really, really well done. Personal story. I had done personal story in the betas for the Norn and for the humans a little bit. And I'd only gone up to level 10 on all of them because I didn't want to ruin anything. Well, let me tell you, the level 10, up to level 10 or up to level 15 personal story is nothing compared to, by the way, we might hit a little bit of a spoiler thing here, so I won't go into any details on them. I'll mention some names, but I'll try to keep it to a minimum so you don't get too many spoilers here. But just in case, spoiler warning, spoiler warning. Anyway, the personal story after 15 gets very, very interesting because it starts to talk about the world around you. It starts to talk about the dragon Zaitan. It starts to incorporate the Order of the Whispers, the Vigil, or the Priory. And
German Priory.
It's very interesting because you have to choose a side. And you're like, okay, which side do you want to fight with? And so for a couple of levels and some of the story, you're literally fighting for that side and doing missions, and they all tie into. So if we were to tree chart this, your personal story starts like this. Starts here, and then it goes off in 3 directions depending on what you chose in the beginning. Then it comes back, and you get to pick one of the 3 Whispers, Priory, or Vigil, and then it splits off into 3 again. And so now you're going to go on your own paths. And so let's say John up there picked Priory and I picked Whispers. He'd go this way, I'd go this way. And then after you finish those quests with them, it meets up again, and you have to do epic battles against the things that you're fighting. And I think that's basically as far as we've gotten. We haven't gone all the way through it yet, but we're already level 80, and we haven't even finished all of our personal story. And if I were to recommend one thing, I'd say if you're going to pick a personal story, and this is total bias, go with the Order of the Whispers, because you get Tybalt. And Tybalt is awesome. He's funny. You will laugh your ass off for the majority of the time when you're fighting with the Whispers. I'm not going to spoil anything. All I'm going to say is apples. That's all I'm going to say. But Order of the Whispers, man, a lot of fun. So, anyway, since we can't really talk about it without spoiling stuff, why don't we talk about World v. World? Because I know a lot of us have jumped in there. And Zachus, why don't you tell us about your World v. World experience so far?
Oh man, we've had some good times. We actually jumped in there the first night because we couldn't get through all the portals. But we had a couple of good sieges so far. We've been matched up. They've been switching the server matchups. I guess it's been 2 or 3 times this week at least.
I think it's actually
so we've had
every
couple
day.
of different matches. It's been more than that, yeah. Because I haven't gone every day, but we've definitely been fighting a bunch of different servers. There was a few that we totally crushed, and there was no challenge, and we completed maps in there. And there was a few that have been some good battles. We had like a 2-hour keep siege there, Tristan? We did one night.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
by the way, if you want to
fun.
see some of those highlights, you can go to alttabme.com and go to the YouTube channel. And most of the really good keep sieges where we were fighting with, I think we had one of every siege weapon on a wall that we were bombarding a keep with. That battle itself is on YouTube, unedited, so you can hear us bitching and talking and all sorts of stuff. But you also get to see us use every single siege weapon, and they're all lined up. And we managed to hold this wall, this one little wall in between the keep with all these siege weapons, and it's really, really cool to watch. It's very interesting to see how siege weapons can really turn the tides of a battle. So that was an awesome battle. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
Matchmaking,
well,
though.
We held that island. Is what we did. We held the island, and we fought off both servers as we broke through the wall of the keep there and managed to get in first. Yep. And then took the keep, which was pretty ridiculous. But it took us 2 hours. So
well, it was awesome. So it was us fighting the other server. So there's 3 servers in one map. So at first it was us fighting one server, and they own the keep, and so we're bombarding the shit out of them. We're like, okay, bombard, and then all of a sudden we break their wall. So this is after like an hour and a half. We break their wall, and then the other server just rolls up and is all like, we're going to go into that wall. And we're like, what, are you fucking kidding me? We just spent an hour and a half sieging this keep and you're going to try to ninja it from us? Not going to happen. So we turned all of our siege equipment and aimed it at them. So we weren't even trying to hit the keep it anymore. We were just like, fuck this. And we just hit everything they were coming at us with. And we wiped them. And so now we wiped them, but the other team rebuilt. And we're like, fuck. So now we had to break the wall again. And they tried, and so it was like a back and forth where the other team would come back, and it was very intense. So you're on siege weapons, and then you're jumping off them to defend the siege weapons, and it was crazy. But it was a ton of fun, and eventually we actually did take this castle. And let me tell you, we got a ton of experience, and it felt very, very rewarding. The items you get, I think, in World v. World was very surprising to me. You get items for your level that are very, very powerful. Every now and again I would go into a World v. World session and every item I would find was an upgrade. The only thing I didn't like was that they're very generic looking. So I guess that makes sense since there's the transmutation stones. So if you're going to World v. World, it makes sense that awesome armor isn't going to drop. But you can use a transmutation stone so you can at least get the stats on your weapon. So I still don't know how they balance out the weapons and the stats and the armors and stuff when you go into World v. World. I understand that you're boosted to level 80, but if I have something with better stats, am I going to have an advantage over you? I still don't understand how that works.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly how it is. You're scaled up to 80, so you have base 80 stats. And then you keep all the gear and skills that you have. World v. World is not meant to be balanced in any way. They said they will never try to balance the world. There will be things that are overpowered. There will be people that are geared more than you. But it still goes back to the skill versus gear debate. You all start off with that base level. If you've put more time into your character than someone else, you will have that slight advantage in World v. World. It's structured that will always be equalized, and it will never be World v. World on that basis.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
I would really like to see, and this is like on my top wish list. You go into SPVP, it lets you have a spec. Okay. I would really, really like to see when I go into World v. World, it gives me a different spec, because my PVE spec is so different than my World v. World spec that if I have to pay every time, I'm going to go broke in a month. Simple as that. Or a week. I mean, it's literally...
Yeah, that's a weird,
It's so different. It's so different because the PvE is very, very difficult in this game, and if you don't spec properly, you're going to die. Or you're just not going to do you're not going to help your party, and nobody's going to want to bring you out with them. So if you're going into PvE with World v. World specs, it's not as... You're not min-maxing enough, you know what I mean?
Unless you're a ranger. Ranger seems to have that you're good at everything at any time awesomeness.
No,
so
but you could
I haven't felt that at all.
You could go into your skill trait lines and you could give more towards, buffing allies and dropping, small heals and the spirit trees and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
No, I'm pretty awesome all the time. Not gonna lie.
And this is why we don't bring Bruce along on raids with us.
Hey,
so Bruce, about that cooking.
Oh, fuck you guys. But no, I'm not gonna lie. I did change up once I got to 60 and I got my 60 book. I actually built up my spirit build specifically for the explorable mode last night. But since I did that, I kept it for PvE and World v. World, and it's still awesome. So I'm just saying, I built one way for one thing, and it's still viable in the other two. So I'm liking it.
Do.
Loving it.
Programmed. I'll tell you one thing I haven't done since the game went live. SPVP.
I did a little bit.
Did you?
Yeah.
I'm only like level 6, but
that's a lot.
I did a little bit. It was all right. 4 hours, 5 hours ish, not too much. In the first week, I've been playing primarily with one friend. We've been, obviously we know that the scaling system works, but we've been trying to stay similar levels. So if he's not on, it's like all right, I'll do some crafting here, I'll do some stuff there. It's like, well, I can hop into the structured and do that. So I've been slowly gathering glory. It's slower than it was in the beta weekends. They seem to have tweaked the amount of experience you need to level, but still the same people you see in there before. Yeah.
Makes sense. I mean, I know I haven't personally done it because, I don't know, the leveling system is so well done where if your buddy is lower than you, you just hop in with them. It really doesn't matter. I've gone and leveled with a bunch of people that are on their alts or not, or, I brought my Mesmer to the char zone. And the really interesting thing to me is that I'm on my alt right now, okay? And I've decided to do a different way of leveling this time. On my Mesmer, it was like finish a zone completely and then move on. And what would happen is I ended up finishing a lot of low zones, and I never actually hit the middle zones. So I was like low, 80. What? So I would go into one zone for 2 minutes and all of my gear was obsolete. And I was like, oh, that's weird. So what I'm doing now on my alt is I'm going, the minute I hit 25, let's say, I go to a 25 to 30 zone. And I'm making sure that the minute I hit 30, I leave that zone. Doesn't matter if I've completed it or not. I mean, I'll get the skill points and everything, but I'll leave. And I'm just continuing through that. And what I found is that as I'm leveling my alt, I realize I'm in the Norn area, and I look over to the left, and I'm like, holy shit, there's a 70 to 80 Norn zone? Like, I didn't even know that existed. And I was so excited because I cannot wait to bring my Mesmer there so that I could just check this zone out because I love the Norn zones. I just think they're so beautiful. So I'm really excited to zone out with my Mesmer in there and just have some like crazy confusion going on. So that should be a ton of fun. And I've been playing around with the Mesmer build.
Oh, right.
And you can do and I'm going to try a new PvE build with it where it focuses more on mantras and healing party members and just overall support. And it's just interesting how many different choices you can have. And I think that's why I'm so frustrated that I haven't figured out if I want to play a Guardian or a Mesmer as my main yet, because the longer you play a profession in this game, it seems the better you get versus just kind of looking online and getting the best spec. I feel as though the more you know, the more you can tweak it to your playstyle and be viable with that playstyle. So I'm interested in jumping in there and trying out new things. And I think that's why I haven't completely committed to doing the Guardian as my main. It's because I see a lot of potential with the Mesmer, but I also see a lot of things that irk me. So I'm just trying to figure out what works out best for me and what works out best for the party. Because I noticed when we were running dungeons that, the Guardian is very boof in your face, like get in the bubble, you're getting help from the Guardian. However, the Mesmer can drop down these things and remove all bad conditions from your party, and it can also take every condition that's put on himself. So if a boss is hitting you with a poison that kills you in 2 hits, you can literally click a button, send that back to the boss, and now the boss is ticking himself for crazy damage. So it's not as visible, but it's very rewarding to the player versus the people around. So I need to figure out if I'm more of the player that wants my friends to be like, thanks, man, you helped me, you saved my life. Or if I want to be the guy that's like sitting in the corners going, I just fucked that boss up. Like, do I want to be Gollum? My precious. Or do I want to be fucking Frodo? Gotta get the gun. What the fuck?
Well, for so many glamour skills, you're not getting much attention.
Right?
I think that's your issue right now.
Right? They're called glamour.
You're being showboated by your Guardian.
Yeah, they're called glamour. I want more glamour, damn it. More pink, more butterflies. Shit.
Oh, God, I hate you sometimes.
Something like that, man. So. But yeah. So we've got personal story, we've got picking classes. I mean, everybody that comes into the live stream asks the same questions. I'm thinking about playing this class, but I tried this one. What do you think? I don't know. The best thing I could say is if you come into our live stream or you come onto our forums and you ask questions like that, please give us a little background as to why you're thinking about playing those classes. Because trust me, we're all going through the same thing. It's like a little AA for everybody. So we all can relate to each other. Yes, you can. You can relate. Shut the fuck up. No, because we've all
rules.
Shut the hell up. No, you've all looked at different professions and you've all wanted to play different professions.
Yeah.
So we can help
Yeah,
you
true.
in the sense of being able to say why we decided to choose X as our main. So I know people hold we get connected to our characters, so we want that main to be the right fit. So anything else that you want to chat about our initial impressions here? Anything you can think of? Why don't we take some questions from the
I
stream?
think we covered everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Let's
yeah.
take questions.
All right, so we're gonna open up the stream to questions. So if anybody has any questions about initial release or anything that you have been seeing, or any questions you have about your classes, now is the time to ask. So there's gonna be a little delay between what I just said and what they wanted. Oh, already, wow. So. How does guild claiming work in World v World? Literally, you take over a keep, and the first person to click the little NPC that says guild claiming on him, literally it says guild claiming, will be able to get the flags. And if you get that, you can give your bonuses to everyone in the area. So those can be plus 10 to healing, plus 10 to magic find, all sorts of really cool stuff. So that's actually really bitchin'. Plus you get your logo on it, so even though we don't have much World v World stuff right now because we're waiting for everything to get balanced, we still take it because we want to see the Yactopus. Which, for those that don't know, we're on Yak's Bend and we have an octopus as a logo, so we have dubbed it the Yactopus.
Yes.
I don't know why he's laughing so hard.
That apparently drives Bruce crazy.
I love it. I was so happy when we decided on that. I was pushing so hard to have the octopus, and I can't believe people voted for it.
It's like the verbal version of the chicken head right there.
It was so funny. We did a voting in the guild. We had a bunch of people put in suggestions, and we had a lot of really high glory, very, very high end stuff, some really nice looking stuff, and then there's this octopus with a trident. It's like, I want that. I'm gonna try so hard to get that our emblem, and people voted for it.
Because it's awesome. We love it.
It fits our personality. It fits our personality. We're a very casual guild. However, for a casual guild, we're hardcore when it comes to our personality and our community. And that's why I think that it was a perfect fit. It was funny, and it was also we can own that. We can own the Yactopus, so it's perfect. Oh God.
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
trying. Hold on.
So someone asked
God.
what we think of the server Yak's Bend. So far, my impressions have been very good. I think the community is extremely helpful and very, very nice on Yak's Bend. There's a lot of very mature players on there. And if they're, who cares how old they are, because it's everybody seems to be very nice and helpful. And I haven't run into any issues where someone's been raging or getting mad or anything like that. They've just been very helpful. So
You'll see a little bit of trolling in Lion's Arch. That seems to be the new Ogremar for a lot of the Horde, old school stuff. You'll see a lot of political talk, and everyone's but that kind of fades away very quickly. World v World, always full. Always full.
we're doing pretty well in World
That's
v
probably
World
the-
too.
Yeah. We've done really well, and I'm glad we're always full. I mean, it usually doesn't take very long to get into the 3 name servers. World v Eternal will take a little bit, but give it 5 minutes, you can usually get into a server. So it's not it's not bad, but that's probably the only downside is it is always full. But we expected that.
What
And
do you
it'll die down over
think?
time.
What do you think of jump puzzles? I'm not answering
Love
this.
jump puzzles. Tristan hates jump puzzles.
I love them.
love the jump
They're
puzzles.
awesome.
Who doesn't?
Fucking
I like
Listening
the
to
ones
you
where if you
jumping
screw
puzzles
up,
is great.
you have to go all the way back and redo half an hour of jumping.
I'm pretty sure me and
Shit.
Callie spent 3 hours on a goddamn jump puzzle. And you know what it gave me? It gave me linen. Okay, not worth it. Not worth
Sorry,
it. Okay.
I laughed really.
And then it was all like, hey, guess what? We're gonna do this jump puzzle, but we're gonna do it in the dark. I was like,
Oh yes, the dark room.
I was like, I already can't do
love
these
that
in the
one.
daytime. So what the fuck are you making it dark for?
If you had a guardian with a torch, you would have been fine.
Oh my god. Well,
It's dark.
I just don't get me wrong. Okay, so I rage a lot during. There was at one point I think
Jump
someone
bubbles.
actually like highlighted the moment on the stream, and it's on YouTube now, where I fell off right before I beat it because I was helping someone get up with my mesmer portal, and instead of jump, I hit F, and it ported me back down to where I just picked him up, and then my portal fucking disappeared. So I was being the nice guy, okay? I was being the nice guy. But I have to say that the jump puzzles are extremely rewarding. You feel like you really have to do it. Like they're very difficult. And so when you finish them, you feel very accomplished with yourself. The camera, I wish you could lock it at a certain distance, because sometimes when you're jumping, your camera freaks out and it makes it very difficult. Like it'll push in too far or pull out too hard, so it messes up your jump. Like a good example for me would be Alice Madness Returns. That game was all about the jumping puzzles, and your camera was locked. You were always at the same distance in those jumping puzzles, and they made sure wherever there was a jumping puzzle, there were no walls to block your camera. So they made it very it made it easier to kind of grasp where you were going. When your camera gets pushed in like this and you're on the screen like this, it's a little difficult to get to the next spot. So that's fucked me up a couple times, which kind of sucks. I like the World v. World jumping puzzles because, let me tell you something. I had an awesome moment where Joe Schmo on the World v. World jumping puzzle from the other team was all like, can't we be friends? And I was like, no. And so he's standing on the edge of a cliff right before the jump puzzle, edge of the cliff. And so I whooped out my greatsword, which has a knockback. I just went swoop, and you just see him fly to his death. And I was like, yeah. And then I got up to the top of the jumping puzzle before him, and I waited. And the minute he got there, I went swoop. Ah! So he made it all the way up to the top of the jumping puzzle, and not only did he miss the water underneath, because you can normally fall off in the water and just swim away, he hit a fucking rock and died. I was like, yeah.
What a dick.
So that made
that
me
is
happy.
good, though. I like that.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's funny.
I didn't highlight that. I totally forgot to. I should have. Oh well. Anyway, these are the kinds of things you could see on the live stream if you go to alttabme.com/live. Free plug. Anyway, let's see if there's any other questions here. No,
Well,
seems to
there
be
were
good.
two from.
From who?
Well,
Callie?
we have one
wow.
asking about, do you know how the mystic weapon crafting works?
Oh.
No.
The Mystic Forge?
Yeah, Mystic Forge. I would imagine.
You put
Well-
items in there and it randomly gives you something?
Yeah, that for the most part that's how it is. But also for the legendaries, if that's what you're asking for, there are specific set of recipes for that you can find online that require a frick ton of math
Yeah.
and a lot of time.
We
But
can't
for the
explain
most
it.
part,
It'll take us like
Forge,
6 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be forever.
yeah. But
It's there.
but for the most part,
We have guides.
what you can do is you can say put like 4 different gems in there, and it'll pop down like a sigil or a different gem back out at you. You could put in 4 green items, and it may pop out a yellow item back at you. It could also, you can upgrade all your copper into iron, but not 1-to-1. It'll be like 4-to-1 or something like that.
Oh, I didn't know
with
that.
Some other stuff. You can find a lot of
didn't know
guides
that either.
online. Yeah, you can. Yeah, that's it's one of the items that chick right around the Mystic Forge and Lion's Arch sells you, the Philosopher's Stone. It's you have, say, a full stack of copper, Philosopher's Stone, what you want to transmute it into, say iron, you put an iron in there, and some dust, some of the magic dust of the same tier, and it'll give you back maybe like 120 iron instead of the 250 copper you put in there originally. It's kind of a cool system where if you're all of a sudden fully stocked up and you need to get to that next tier of mats, you can use it that way. I personally am using it on my other characters to level it up, but it's you can do a lot of fun stuff with a Mystic Forge if you play around with it. So goof around with it.
Yeah. Oh, someone asked me earlier today. Nobody in the stream asked me, but someone earlier in the stream asked me, "Are we recruiting selectively?" Just so you know, we are, because the game came out, we're still trying to figure out who is, in the guild, who isn't, and so we're trying to figure out what our final tally here is. And I think we're at like 118. Our guild cap with friends and family is 200. That's what we've decided, because 150 the brain starts to freak out, but since it's friends and family, we're gonna up it to 200. But that's it. We're not going higher than that. We're not gonna be like the older gamers. They have like 600 people or more. By the way, we love those guys. They're great. That's one of the reasons we rolled on this server. They're an awesome guild, but we just can't handle that many people. We've always liked to keep it a little more intimate, and we like to know each other a little more. So if you're looking for a giant guild, we're not the guild for you. If you're looking for a casual guild, that's probably a good place to start. However, understand that even though we're casual, we do play very hardcore in style. We play hard, we take things seriously, and we like to win. So, I mean, the difference is that we're not going to rage if we lose. And we're going to continue to beat on that boss, even if our armor is broken 75 times and someone else has to give you a gold to, help you repair. We're going to keep going. You know what I mean? So it's not
A gold.
It's not a hostile. It's not a hostile environment. It's very it's very friendly. But we're being very, very selective. And if just because you watch the live stream or you watch a podcast, it doesn't mean you're guaranteed access. And don't take it that personally. AltTabMe.com is a place for people to come and talk about the podcast, the game, games in general, and stuff like that. And then the guild is a separate offshoot. So you can hang out with us on the community. We've made a ton of forums open to the public, and the only things that are private are basically guild events and announcements. So there's nothing that we're hiding from the public. It's just stuff that, you guys don't need to see, because you don't need to know every time, someone wants to buy a crafting mat from me because I have 200 tailoring or something. You know what I mean? So, speaking of which, actually, and there's so much to talk about, because, and as I'm realizing as we're going, is that crafting we didn't really talk about because we kind of got into Gaiwen's hatred for cooking, but I've really enjoyed crafting, and I don't like crafting normally, and the reason I enjoyed it was A, I get experience for it, and B, the items I get look freaking awesome. My armor, like the armor I'm wearing right now, is my crafted set. What game can you say where you actually want to wear your crafted stuff over the shit that drops in the world? I've been rocking pieces of everything out. I love mixing and matching the pieces. Everything kind of goes somehow with each other. They made it so that the armor matches and fits together very well, and it's a nice little aesthetic thing. Bruce wouldn't understand because he's manly, but for those of you that value the looks of your character more than the weapon, then crafting is very, very cool. But it also has cool stats too. Like I have a full magic set, magic find set that I made just by crafting it, and so that was very cool. Yeah, Bruce.
My bard hat was pretty amazing from finishing the Ascalon Catacombs story mode, though. I'm not gonna lie, the leather
Pirate hat
was pretty awesome. Yeah, no, not
Yeah.
it was like it was a feather hat and stuff. It was
It's a pirate hat.
It made me feel like a bard, and I was.
It's a pirate hat.
It's
Me and Callie
Pirate
actually
hat.
raged.
all right.
We finished Ascalonian Catacombs. Zacchus was there, and me and Callie raged, like fucking almost rage quit our characters because that hat was so epic, and we got I don't even remember what we got, but it was like a hood and it was ugly, And we were like, what the fuck? Why don't we get a pirate hat? So, ArenaNet, if you're watching, can you please add like an aesthetic pirate hat for players that are wearing light cloth? Like something, a light pirate hat. Just something that makes us look like pirates because I like it. I want to be a pirate. I'll tell you though, if you're playing a medium class, you're going to get the most epic pirate gear you've ever seen. If you've ever wanted to be a swashbuckler, holy shit, make a medium class right now. Like stop watching the podcast, go make a medium class, level it up, and check out the freaking epic armor you get, because the medium class has the most epic pirate shit I have ever seen in my life. By far. By far. And like the guys look all like, like fucking grumbly and shit. And the girls look all like they're wearing things that are a little bit too big for them, and they're kind of bummy. It's cool. They look like they're in pajama pirate outfits. It's the coolest shit ever. So, or they like stole the guy's pirate shirt, and it's the next day, and they're wearing it home. That kind of thing. It's awesome. So, anyway, so we don't have any more questions. Anything else you guys wanted to bring up, or shall we call this one podcast number 11? I think we're going to call this podcast number 11. Thank you so much for everyone for coming out to check it out live at alttabme.com/live. Thank you also to all of you guys for actually coming out of the game and contributing to the podcast, because I know right after this I'm going into game, and we will be live streaming that as well. I'm not sure if I'll be on my Guardian or Mesmer, but we'll figure it out. But yes.
I'll be on my Guardian.
Nice. Every Monday, 5:15 Eastern, we will be doing a weekly podcast about our impressions of the game or whatever topic we might find suitable. And it will go to YouTube on Wednesdays. And you can check out all the highlights or ask questions for the next podcast at alttabme.com. So thanks for watching, and we will see you guys next time.